When the bridge opened, an article in La Stampa newspaper stated that the bridge's concrete structure won't need any maintenance. Neither will the concrete stays, which are protected from atmospheric agents by their concrete vest.
The Morandi Bridge was 1,182 metres long, the deck suspended 45 metres above the ground below. 3 reinforced concrete pylons reached 90 metres high. The design featured diagonal cable stays with trestle-like supports, one set carrying the roadway deck, while the other supported the top ends of the diagonal stay cables.
It crossed over the Polcevera Valley, so beneath it there was a railway depot, a river, a densely populated area and several large factories.
It was a signature Morandi design, with every cable completely encased, giving the bridge a complete concrete look. Pre-stressed concrete is compressed during its manufacture. Cables or tendons are stretched, placed under tension, and then concrete cast around it, creating a stronger structure that's more resilient.
Concrete is a material which is made up of cement and aggregate. And because it's sort of a granular material, it's very good when you compress it. It is very, very poor when you stretch it. Okay, so it's good in compression, weak in tension.
The bridge was as busy as normal, although the traffic had slowed due to the torrential rainstorm at the time.
At 11:36 a.m., a 200-metre section of the Morandi bridge deck collapsed, along with support pillar 9, bringing with it the vehicles and passengers travelling across. Many tons of concrete, along with more than 30 cars and 3 trucks, plummeted into the Polcevera River, the nearby industrial area and railways below. The collapse cost the lives of 43 individuals, injured 16, and devastated the people of Genoa. Some apartment buildings and houses under the bridge were crushed. Others had to be evacuated as the remaining sections of the bridge hung precariously above.
And the people who live here have no idea if or when they might be able to return.
We were talking to some locals a little earlier on who said that this bridge, which isn't only used by the people of the city to get from one side of the city to the other, but is also a major highway. So if you're driving from France into Italy and on down through Italy, this is the bridge that you would use. The work goes on. You can see a heavy lifting machinery there digging through what was one of the main buttresses that held up the bridge.
It was only one part of the bridge which collapsed. That part was a complex structural system of struts and towers that were deteriorating with time.
The Italian Transport Minister described the incident as an immense tragedy. It had been his party in 2012 that had said that the idea of the Morandi Bridge collapsing was just a fairy tale.
The government is now inspecting the safety of bridges and roads, not just in Genoa, but across Italy. They've promised investment in infrastructure and €30 million to support those affected in Genoa. Before they can rebuild, they need to remove tons of concrete and twisted steel. Small memorials like this are being set up across the city. Candles left to burn until they've gone, in memory of those that went onto this bridge and never came back.
Clearly there is grieving going on in this city, but alongside it now there is a lot of anger. People are very, very angry that this bridge was not looked after in the way that they think it should be. For up to a decade now, people have been worried about it and have been calling for repairs or even for its removal altogether and a new bridge to be built.
But the engineer that predicted years ago that the Morandi Bridge had problems doesn't think it'll take months. He thinks it'll take years.
First, solve the emergency moment, then you have to demolish the bridge, which is very challenging.
The final demolition took place in June 2019. An innovative method was used as part of the demolition. 45-metre-high walls of water were used to enclose a potential dust cloud.
Thousands of people were evacuated from a 300-metre exclusion zone before the remaining towers were brought down. A cable-stayed bridge consists of one or more towers and a deck that is supported by cables that run directly to the towers.
A cable-stay bridge requires a bigger, larger, more active deck structure. The fact that the cables are connected to the deck means that the deck has to be a lot more strong to take the load.
Most cable-stayed bridges have multiple stays that attach to different points on the deck, distributing the forces. The Morandi Bridge only had 2 per tower, meaning that a failure in one single stay could compromise the entire structure. There had been concerns over the bridge since its construction.
Morandi himself recommended protection against pollution from the factories and the salty sea air.
In 1979, Morandi wrote a report that recommended constant maintenance of the bridge. In 1992, the cables were heavily corroded. The then state-owned company Autostrade added new cables around the corroded ones, rather than replacing the existing cables.
In 2016, it was brought to ministers' attention in Parliament that the Morandi Bridge needed attention. And in 2018, plans were set in motion for retrofit maintenance, and it was due to start in the autumn.
In their first public encounter with the media, Autostrade per Italia, the company that runs the bridge, committed to an ambitious timeline. 8 months to rebuild it, they said.
Prosecutors claimed during the subsequent investigation that some parts of the bridge had gone without maintenance for 25 years. Autostrade say the bridge was constantly monitored and subject to frequent inspections. They claim there was no indication that immediate action was needed. The investigation is yet to be completed and no prosecutions have been made.